Hey everybody, this is Dr. Maples. Today I want to talk about failing classes. A lot of them, in fact. I'll be honest, when I was in community college, I failed classes. More than one, in fact. It's normal. It happens. It's part of college life. You're not the first person to fail a class, nor will you be the last. But when we're failing multiple classes, we need to be a little more cautious about what we're doing and find some step-by-step processes to make sure that we can get you through the semester with as best a GPA as we can, and also think about some damage control that we may need to do to improve that GPA, make sure that you can get to the graduation stage as planned and shake the president's hand. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some step-by-step processes for dealing with failing grades, and we're also going to think about how we do damage control to help out that GPA. The end goal is I want to get you to the graduation stage. We can do that together. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started. All right, today we're talking about failing classes and lots of them. And I'll be honest, as a professor, the first thing you need to do is talk to your professor and establish that you're actually failing the class. Now, in asking about this, what you effectively need to find out is if you can get a C or a D in the class. C is passing at all colleges that I've ever seen. D is passing at most of them, but some universities and some majors won't allow a D, so you got to check on that on your own. But ask your professor, and the language is right there on the slide if you need it. Find out exactly what needs to happen for you to get a D. If they say, well, yeah, if you do this, this, and this, you're good, do those things. Live up to your obligations, you'll be fine. You cross this class off the list. If they say, I'm sorry, you're doomed, that's okay, because this is where we're going to go into our next steps. All right, so now we're going to go into our damage control phase. Quick note, if you're failing all of your classes, you can go ahead and skip over to the next slide, and I've got that listed in the chapters below. If you do have some classes that you're passing, we want to do some special damage control to keep those as best we can and get rid of some of the others. To do that, I need you to find out what full-time status means at your university. 99 times out of 100, full-time status is 12 course hours, but I have seen private universities that use different hour systems, and a full-time status is something else. Now what we want to do is that if you're above 12 hours, I want to drop anything that you're failing and go ahead and let's get it off of there. Now, the cool thing is that if the withdrawal deadline hasn't passed, you can drop those F classes and make them into W's. W's are a really good thing compared to taking an F. In fact, I've got a video up on that. It's one of my most popular ones, so go check out that W video. I'll put it in the links below. Drop those classes, and on top of that, I want you to drop classes that you're positive you never want to take again. Like you took Yoga 101 and you realized Yoga 101 was not for you and you never want to take it again. Let's drop that class over, say, a math class that you know next semester you're still going to have to take to get that graduation requirement out of the way. Throughout, I want you to make sure you stay at 12 hours or above, or whatever full-time is for your university or college. The reason is that if you go into part-time status, student loans can suddenly become activated in 6 months. If you're on family health insurance, it can cause all sorts of issues there. If you have a student work job, it can create issues. In short, you want to stay 12 hours or above, or whatever full-time status is for your university. Now, if you have to drop them with an F or an FW, which is effectively an F, that's fine too, because if you're positive you're going to fail it, we can go ahead and get those off of there, and then let's focus on the rest of the classes. Even if some of them you're not going to pass, that's okay. Let's move on to our next step and see what our next damage control step is going to be. So for our next damage control step, we want to take a moment and reflect on if we should write out the GPA hit from the failed classes, or if we should withdraw from all of our classes for the semester. We've got some options on both of these. First off, as an easy formula for my students, I say if you're going to pass half or more of your classes, don't withdraw for the semester. Stay in, fail those couple of classes, do everything you can to pass the others, and know that on our next slide, we're going to go through some steps for dealing with those Fs. I want to talk, though, if you're failing all of your classes, or if you're like passing one class and you feel like the chances of you actually completing that class are really low. In that situation, let's look at a withdrawal. You can withdraw from the university at any time by simply withdrawing all of your classes. You withdraw from them in the system or using a paper system if that's what your college does, and it just simply pulls you out of college for the semester. Now, when you withdraw from the semester, this is going to create some issues with things like student loan, health insurance, any student work that you might be doing, but you can deal with those issues. What's more important here is that we need to make a plan for how we get you back into college in the near future and help you finish your degree. Now, First off, when you step away from college, it's always going to be there. You can step back and take a break for 4 or 5 years if you need to fix whatever's going on in your life that you then can pass your degree later on. It's perfectly fine. My big advice, though, is if you're bombing out at a college or university, go to a community college. Community colleges are amazing. They are supportive. They're very different from these giant colleges, high pressure situations. Your professors are very accessible and they're teaching focused. So their whole thing is to make sure you learn the content, get out of their class, and move on. There's also different withdrawal options. If you have a medical or personal emergency, your university may support a medical or an emergency withdrawal of some kind. I do have a video up on medical withdrawals. I encourage you to check that out. Likewise, if there's different kinds of withdrawals that your university allows that I haven't talked about, leave me a comment below and I'll do a video on that. The end thing here is that we want to do everything we can to get you back into the college. Now, if you can stay and take this bad hit for the semester, or if you withdraw from classes this semester and can join right back up in the next semester, that's awesome, because what we can do next is damage control to deal with any Fs that you got as a result of that. In fact, let's talk more about that. So when we come back from either withdrawing from a lot of classes, failing a lot of classes, or even taking a couple of semesters off from college, you're often going to be put on what's called academic probation. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. It just says that you've got to keep your GPA, whether it's the overall GPA or just for the semester GPA, above a certain level, generally above a 2.0 or a 2.5, going to vary by your university and college. So what we want to do is this first semester back from whatever happened this last semester that didn't go well, we want to take a rebuilding semester, take some easy classes, and try to do everything we can to just raise our GPA up ever so little. First thing that we can do is take a bunch of easy classes. That is the easy thing. If you're not ready to retake stuff that you failed, taking some basic 100-level classes or stuff in your major that you know you can pass without an issue, it's going to be no problem. Should be an easy semester for you. Likewise, if you're ready to start retaking some of those F classes that you've failed in the past, we can take 1 or 2 of them. I'm not saying take all of them. I'm saying take some of the ones that you know you can pass this time because whatever happened last time has gone away. Maybe it was the wrong professor for you. Maybe your life was just not in the right spot at the time. Whatever it is, you're ready to pass this class. So add it back in. Most universities will let you take a class that you have failed, add it back in, and they'll replace the F in your GPA with your new grade. You can trade that F for a B, and it's going to bump your GPA really, really quickly. I also suggest looking at community college. Again, take a semester at a community college to rebuild, get back on your feet, knock out some gen ed classes, maybe even work towards your associate, and then transfer that up to the bachelor program. Whatever it is, though, that you need to do, make sure this first semester back is a rebuilding semester, and it's not going to be a difficult one. My end goal is I want to see you on the graduation stage, shaking the provost or the president's hand, hey, even maybe both of their hands. So let's make sure that we take this first semester back easy, and let's get you to the end. Let me give you some free advice here. You need to take a self-assessment of what happened in your life this last semester that caused all these issues and address that before you come back. College will always be here. Student loans are something that can be paused, put into forbearance, whatever you need to do, but we can make sure that you take the time you need to address those issues and then come back. In the end, my big thing here is I want to make sure you take care of whatever the situation is, get it fixed, and then come back whole and ready to get your college degree. You got this. 3 final things here, folks. First off, it is perfectly fine to fail classes. I did, and I'm a college professor today. Second, it's perfectly fine to have a lapse in enrollment. I also had a lapse in enrollment, and I'm a college professor today. And third, it's fine to do damage control because you get where I'm going with this. Take the time to do what you need to do to get through this semester. Listen to my advice, work with your local advisor as best you can, and feel free to leave comments below. I'll be happy to help out. Give me as much information as you can, though. That's all for today, folks. I hope that you never have to watch this video, but if you do, don't worry. It's going to be fine. We're going to get you through it. We'll see you next time.